This is going to be a brief interview about your career choices and your career path. And this is for me to practice my interviewing skills. And so you don't have to answer any questions that make you feel uncomfortable. We're also going to be reviewing these videos in my social work lab class, so other people are going to see this recording.
Okay.
So I guess to start, I'm wondering, what do you do for work right now?
I do construction, general construction. We build houses. At the very moment, we're building a house, and we just got through with a couple fencing jobs, but generally it's all statuses of construction, from concrete to roofing, whatever comes our way.
So the company that you work for does kind of everything, it's all inclusive?
Yeah, we like to do full houses. I mean, it makes it easy, but yeah, we will do everything. My boss tries to shy away from small fix-it jobs if he can, because they're more of a pain than they're worth, but we do it all.
So how long have you been working with the company that you're working for now?
I've been working with Ben. Ben is my boss. I've been working with him for 5 years straight. And technically I took 3 years off before that, and I worked with him for like 4 years before that. So off and on, I've definitely worked for Ben for probably about a decade now.
Yeah. So how did you get started in construction? Did you work for other people before you worked for Ben, or?
Yeah, that's a funny story. I did. So what happened is I was in college, just like you are, and your fellow students were, and then I was 19 years old and got pregnant, and well, I had to go get a job, and it's funny. My friend Ben, my boss Ben at the time, was working for a guy, Sean Finley, another local contractor, and they were looking for a laborer, and he called me up one day and said, "Well, do you want to come show up on the job site?" And so I showed up, and then never really stopped.
And you were 19 when that happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I was just a baby.
And did you have any specialized skills at that point, or were you entered as a general laborer?
I entered as a laborer, as a worker. Yeah, I live in the woods. I could split firewood and swing a hammer, but no, I had never run a skill saw or built anything square and plumb. I had no actual previous experience.
So you started at 19, no previous experience, and how long would you say it took you to feel like confident in your field?
Well, probably a couple of years. It was probably because we started off, when I first started with Sean, we were doing, the majority of the work was siding, so it wasn't all facets. We were doing a lot of ripping off old siding and put on new siding, so that was one part of it. Before I really got comfortable in construction is when Sean started building houses 2 or 3 years after I started working for him.
Yeah. So it was a few years into working with Sean that you guys started doing jobs where you're sort of coming in and starting at the beginning and building a whole house from beginning to finish.
Yeah.
And that was when you started to become more comfortable with different types of skills in the job?
Oh yes, for sure. For sure.
So you've been with Ben for collectively almost 10 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And do you mind me asking, how much do you make?
At this point in time, I make $42 an hour. And I'm technically the foreman of his crew, which is almost not worth $42 an hour, but it's good paying money. So.
What you said that it's almost not worth $42 an hour. So what extra stuff are you expected to do as a foreman that you feel like isn't really worth the extra money?
I mean, at the moment, he has me keeping on top of my usual workload. He has me trying to keep lists of all materials used. He has me a lot of times bidding concrete. Not bidding, but estimating. A lot of estimating. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to teach me and get me better, but also I also know that there are two other guys on the crew that get paid almost comparable to me, and I am expected to be their boss. So it's kind of a point of contention for me.
So you're not only doing all of this labor, you've got a lot of different skills at this point from what I'm hearing, like siding, roofing, electrical work, plumbing, like all of it, really full circle type construction, but you're also expected to do kind of like administrative stuff.
A little bit. Like right now, I actually have a stack of lists that I'm supposed to compile, and I've been putting it off for a couple weeks. So I have to do that at some point. Probably while you're gone.
So it sounds like you've been in this, like, how old are you right now?
I am 39 years old.
So you've been doing this for 20 years. You've been in construction.
Essentially, yeah. Well, like I said, I took like 4 years off and kind of did other stuff. I mean, we're in Humboldt County, so I was growing weed and doing the outlaw thing for a couple of years. So probably you could say 15 years consistently doing construction.
And then like another 5 years off growing marijuana.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever think about leaving construction?
I have. I've thought about it a lot actually, but it's at this point it's almost a sunk cost fallacy. It's not. I mean, I could easily move along. I could definitely get into other fields, other trades. But the thing is, at $42 an hour, most jobs I go to that are not construction are definitely going to be a pay hit, and with no college degree and no experience in those fields, it would just be a step back. I guess it feels like.
Like you're saying that what you're making now is more money than you would make if you tried to like go into another field.
Yeah, like I would think, not construction, but yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Even $42 is good money, so it's. I mean, like I said, I feel like sometimes it's not worth the amount that I do, but also I know the fact that it's good money, and I really don't know what other field I could go into without previous experience or a degree that would start me off at $40 an hour.
Right. Yeah. So you're kind of topped out in your field, but if you were to try to leave construction, specifically this company too, you feel like you wouldn't be making a comparable wage, and you'd just be taking a step backwards.
Right, I agree. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And I could, the other direction to stay in my field and work for myself would be to go get my contractor's license, which I have all the skills and all the abilities to do, but that would give me a slight pay increase, but then my bills double or triple because now there's expenses on top of working.
Expenses that right now the company you're working for is paying instead of you.
Yeah, I wouldn't have to carry a bond. I wouldn't have to be bonded and insured for people's houses. I wouldn't have to pay the California State License Board. I'm not sure how much the money for that, for my license, business license, extra taxes. I would be taxed. I'd be paying my taxes, not having a W-2. So yeah.
Right. Yeah, you'd be taking on a lot of extra responsibility and financial responsibility to try to go solo, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess I heard you say at the beginning that, like, really it was kind of just like a stroke of luck. Like, you're from Humboldt, so obviously you grew up in weed culture, but then you got pregnant young. And so because of getting pregnant young, you just kind of wound up in construction.
Yeah, I don't know, it was just a call. Like I said, I was doing odd jobs and little things here and there and firewood and what I could, and then he called me and it was a full-time job, and I think I started at, I think it was like $14 an hour or $12 an hour or something like.
Whoa, I didn't realize you started that low.
Mm-hmm.
$14 an hour. Yeah, 20 years ago.
Yeah, 19, unskilled labor.
Wow. Yeah. Were there other, like, do you feel like there were other job avenues that you could have followed at that time around here?
Maybe. Not that I really were very obvious to me. Nothing that, like I said, I'd been doing odd jobs and hunting around and, like, no, around here, I mean, a lot of times, I mean, I guess I know the two other big ones that I've had friends go into is fire and like mill work, but No, those were both a little fire required. Fire is seasonal and it requires training, and then the mill was further away, so it was seemed like it was the path of least resistance.
The path of least resistance from this community, which is incredibly rural. We're like an hour outside Garberville.
Yeah.
And so, and if you went into CAL FIRE or BLM fire, you'd be traveling. It's only seasonal. You would have to work your way up through that.
And that'd be the same thing. That'd be starting low pay and working certifications. And I have a friend actually he's worked his way up. He's my age and he's out in top brass in BLM now, but he had to move to Idaho to keep working there.
So part of the influence for being in construction in the first place is kind of the need and the desire to stay in the community?
I mean, I always dreamed about leaving, but it was more just, it was a solid job, a solid paycheck. There was lots of construction, usually everywhere we're at, so it was always a job to be had.
So you needed the money more than you wanted to stay here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Had a new baby, took over my father's mortgage. Yeah, it was like feast or famine. I had to do something, and money talks.
So you wound up in construction. And you said that you're building a full house right now.
Yeah, we're building a big giant, well, it's not giant, but a nice size house down in Shelter Cove for a guy. I think it's like a $800,000 house, said and done.
Do you, outside of the complications of the money and stress at work, do you like the task of construction? Do you enjoy the work?
I enjoy certain aspects of it. I really enjoy like a day of framing or a day of, there's certain parts of the job that you work a hard day and well, I just said money talks, right? You just asked me.
Yeah, so, sorry, I don't really know where we were. No, we were talking about what you do and don't like about your job.
Oh, that's
and so
right.
you're saying like you really like the big boom and bust, like obvious progress
Yes.
jobs where you rip off a whole roof and put on a whole new one, or
Yeah.
finish a giant slab of concrete or something.
Put a whole floor out or finish a wall, or yeah, it's really satisfying.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns about you being in construction at this point? Like, do you have any, concerns or
Well,
fears about your job choices?
One you touched on earlier is like, yeah, I've kind of, at least with this crew, where I'm at, where we're at rurally, I've kind of topped out on my wages. I might be able to get a little more, but I'm kind of closing in on the top level of my wages, and also my body. I hurt it more and more every day. I'm almost 40, so my body can only take so much. I don't know. So those are my two main concerns: are how long can I keep the energy level high and going, and then the other one is, I've kind of topped out on my pay. Like I said, it's good pay. It's not the best pay. It's not like retirement pay, but it's good pay. But I don't know how much more I'm going to get.
Right. How much longer you have in your body to physically do this kind of work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of full-time construction guys like me will switch to like finish work, or they'll switch to like an electrical. They'll do something. They'll switch to a part where they specialize on one part where it's not as hard on your body.
But you've said before that like you don't particularly love finish work.
No, I find it tedious.
Yeah.
I can do it. I can make it look great. But I'm not. It annoys me.
Yeah. I guess moving forward, do you intend to stay in this career, or do you have thoughts about leaving?
I've honestly thought about both, staying with it and leaving, and I don't really have an answer for that. I haven't really, like I said, I'm still at a place. Still got a lot of bills. I'm still an adult. It'd be hard to take a pay cut and leave. It'd be scary. No, I don't. I've thought about it, but I have not ever come to anything concrete about leaving it.
In some sort of fantasy land, is there anything else that you are interested in doing Like, if you could do anything in the world, drop everything, you had no bills, is there some sort of like fantasy job that you might want to have?
I don't know. I'd study history maybe. I'd like to. Really, my fantasy is to travel, but that, I mean, finding some job that I could do and travel would be cool. I mean, I always had a dream of watching an old movie back in the day, and there was a guy, and there was the Frommer's Guide for travel.
Yeah.
And if you could travel around and help write a Frommer's Guide and see all the cool places, I mean, that would be a dream job.
A travel writer. Big aspirations.
I mean, that's just, you said
I would
dreams.
also like to be a travel writer. Well, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I guess I'd like to go over a little bit on a scale of 0 to 10 throughout this conversation. I'd like to ask how understood you feel. So what I'm hearing is that when you were 19, you got pregnant. You live in a very rural area, and so you just kind of wound up in construction because it was the work that was available, it was the call that you got.
Yeah.
And then you stuck with it, primarily because of finances. You had to stick with it. You had a young kid and a mortgage and a partner, and so you stayed in construction. And
once I hit a certain point, it was, I knew what I was doing. So then it was like...
And you became good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And your main concerns are that you do more administrative work in your role for your current company than you'd really like to, and you don't really feel like you're financially rewarded for that as you should be.
Yeah.
And you worry about the longevity of manual labor for your body.
I do.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, a travel writer. It's a good one. On a scale of 0 to 10, like, how comfortable did you feel in this interview?
Oh, I felt fine. I felt like just talking to my best friend is easy.
Do you feel like do you feel understood? Do you feel like
Oh, completely, yeah, and you followed up with very good questions.
Good. Yeah, I thought this was pretty natural. All right, well, thank you so much for talking with me about your career path and your hopes and your dreams, and yeah.
Of course, thank you.
I'm gonna make dinner.